Hello, awesome people. I hope you're having an amazing day today. Today, I thought it would be fun for me to go over my next Serial Saturday. For folks, last week on Saturday, ironically enough, I watched the 3 episodes of the season 2 of Doctor Who, Planet of the Giants, the first serial that starts off that from 1964. I thought it would be fun for me to knock that out. I was looking for something else to do. I was trying to find the first Tarzan serial starring Buster Crabbe. I couldn't find it online or renting. I couldn't even find it to buy on disc and so forth. All I could find were the movie that was made from it and such. And so I was trying to find that. I wasn't able to find it anywhere. I'm not sure that it's actually made anymore or that it exists. It's possible. Anyway, so I was trying to find that, and so I said, well, let's just do something fast, because I'd also like to, that was before I finished Star Control 2 that I reviewed a week and a half ago, and that sort of a thing. I thought it would be fun for me. I was going to spend much of that day, so I figured I'd just do this while I was trying to find something to do. And then, because it's a fast 3 episodes, I don't have to spend that much by day watching it, right? And that sort of a thing. The next one won't be. The Dalek Invasion of Earth is next, if I recall correctly. So that will take more of my time, and so forth. But I thought it would be fun for me to knock it out for you. Now, as a reminder, I'm a big Doctor Who fan. Going back to when I was a kid, my first Doctor Who serial that I saw was The Robots of Death with Tom Baker on my local PBS station in southern West Virginia, and so forth. I think it was Charleston Station, Charleston, West Virginia, our state capital. So basically the idea here, I loved it lots. I thought it was very, very scary, very, very creepy. I actually liked especially the effects and such too. So I thought it was really strong. Loved it lots. Finished that serial and then continued to watch it. It was showing at night at 6 p.m. every night and so forth. So instead of going home and watching like my friends who were watching He-Man or stuff like that, or G.I. Joe, I was watching Doctor Who. Because I was born in 76. So I was watching that stuff while I was growing up, and then I watched it all the way up to when he died in Legopolis. The 5th Doctor regenerated in Castrovalva. He became my favorite Doctor. The 5th Doctor did. I watched him all the way to his regeneration and the first season of Colin Baker's 6th Doctor. I did not see during the 18-month hiatus. I did not see the abbreviated trial of a Tom Moore that came later. Instead, my local station went back and started showing black and whites. So I then saw An Unearthly Child, the Daleks, stuff like that too, which I'd never seen before. Thought it was great stuff. Then the first Doctor became my favorite Doctor, and he's still my favorite Doctor to today. And so forth. I think he and his shows did a lot of things to sort of establish and set a lot of ground rules that a lot of people have followed. And I think he's absolutely a classic in his early stuff too, like Edge of Destruction or the Aztecs. Those sorts of things set a lot of the rules in play for things like that. So anyway, so this again is the Planet of the Daleks. It was initially intended to be a 4-parters and so forth, but it was cut to 3 parts. And so forth. And the person who directed the 4th episode, Douglas Camfield, who would become a very, very strong regular good director, he directed just the 4th episode, but they gave him credit for the 3rd one. Those are the first 3, because they combined the 2, even though none of his scenes are actually in it. So he actually got the line for it. And that sort of thing. So it continues to star William Hartnell as the first Doctor, which is my favorite again, as I mentioned, and then as his granddaughter Susan Foreman as Carol Ann Ford, starring as Ian Chesterton, the science teacher who's going to give us a lot of science knowledge. It's William Russell. He also does a lot of the action scenes too as a younger guy. And then the historical context is provided by history teacher Barbara Wright, who's played by Jekyll and Hill. Also starring in this are a few things. It's not the biggest cast, the Doctor Who serial, but as Forrester is Alan Tilvern, and as Pharaoh is Frank Crenshaw. It's directed by Douglas Camfield. Also Mervyn Penfield too, a common guy at the time. It continues to be produced by Verity Lambert, the first female, and one of the youngest producers of BBC drama at the time, and such. And so it was written by Lewis Marks, his first introduction to Doctor Who early on, such. And then the plot here is that the party is in the first episode. You find out that they are in a TARDIS that's about to arrive, and while they are landing, the doors will open up because of some damage, and as a result, they don't know what happens. They try to find the damage, they can't find it, and they realize that they've actually turned small, and they've landed on modern day Earth. And then they arrive at a house where a government agent who is a scientist, and he's basically a guy who goes about and does inspections of things. He's about to shut down a pesticide that's about to get made, and he's telling the guy who made it and not the guy who made it, that's the scientist, but you get the idea, the funder, the entrepreneur, if you will, who has funded this and has got it ready to go, and he dies by him, and that's the first episode, and such. And then what happens, I'll leave to your sort of imaginations and such, because I don't want to get too deep in the weeds of this spoiler stuff. So I think it's an okay, but I wouldn't say it's great. It's not the great start of a new season that we were all hoping for. They combined a 4 episode, like I mentioned before, combining 4 episodes of 3. I don't think it does a great job with the pacing. I don't think there's a lot of actions. The stars and characters here have little to do with the action, because of the basic premise of them being too small to interact with anything. The idea here that I mentioned early on is that people wouldn't be able to hear them because they basically be on a different decibel. Maybe dogs could hear them, that sort of thing, but not human ears. And ditto. So that's established early on. So for this reason, there's not a lot of interaction. There's basically 2 plots. One with the regular people involving the insecticide that's too powerful, and then also one with the characters trying to survive and get back up to giant size, right? Because they can't interact. I don't think that's. I do think it's an okay idea in concept, and you might be able to make it work. Like it's like a short story or something like that, but as a TV show in serial form, it just doesn't really hit me, right? There's not a lot of interaction between our characters, our main characters that we love, and these other folks too. So for those reasons, it doesn't hit me as strongly. So again, I think it's okay, but not great. So I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. I did see some people that gave it higher, some people that gave it lower, and that sort of a thing online when I was looking up the reviews on places like IMDb and such. But I think a 6 out of 10 is probably appropriate for it. Again, even the guy who wrote it said, the guy who's running it, the manager at the time, not Verity, said there's just not a lot of action, not a lot of stuff happening here. We need to cut it out. So even he said it. And so I'm not going against the established canon at the time. But there you are. Those are my thoughts. 6 out of 10 for you folks from 1964. Again, this is a serials. Our passion of this channel, from Doctor Who on TV stuff through movie stuff like Flash Gordon or Captain Marvel that we've looked at and so forth. I think that they are a forgotten storytelling genre. So giving an opportunity to go back and talk about some of those things should give you my thoughts on them and that sort of a thing. At the time, they were considered crapping, pacing, great stuff too. But even today, a lot of folks go back and are like, So the 6 out of 10 is compared to other Doctor Who episodes or other serial stuff. It's not compared to modern day televisions. Just says that. All right, so there you are. Did you agree or disagree with my 6 out of 10? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. You can try to keep it spoiler free outside of the first episode, which I like to give. I also do the same thing for movie serials that I review here too. For you folks, if you like this, check out some of my reviews, Doctor Who stuff, or last week's stuff like that. I just recently done the Phantom. I did the Spider's Web. I've done the Spider Returns, stuff like that too. Pretty recently. I think you'll enjoy that lots. And then also check out my Doctor Who stuff too. Love it lots for you folks. So there you are. And then if you like this video, why not hit the like button, the subscribe button, and then the bell icon to be notified of my videos. In addition to this, I also spend Fridays doing top 10s of various films, Wednesdays for video games, older stuff typically. I like to do Monday, I do on a role-playing game or a war game type of thing. I just did my review of 1984, so it was Bone Hill, The Secret of Bone Hill by Leonard. Actually it's 81, The Secret of Bone Hill by Leonard Lakofka. And then on Wednesday, I did a review of Evil Genius. So if you like James Bond and Doctor Who stuff, because you're British, you'll like that too. And such, if you like that James Bond stuff too. Because he's also a British institution, just like Doctor Who is. So again, check it out. Also, if you like, I also do, 3 videos reviewing a week of older things that are in the science fiction, fantasy, and horror genres for you folks. A couple of days ago, I posted my video of an early 90s novel by Joe Dever, who wrote Lone Wolf, who's also huge. He sold 100,000, the first book in the first month in the UK. Lone Wolf. Also fighting fantasy stuff too, in that game book genres where you're fighting things. It's called The Omega Zone, and also on Sundays I get reviews of fantasy stuff right now. And then I did a Michael Moorcock one. Again, he's pretty common in the UK. And then also on Tuesday I did an H.P. Lovecraft review. So I do a lot of those older things. And the reason why I do a lot of those older things is because that's the passion of this channel, right? These older things that are forgotten about. That's also where its name comes from. The worst thing about new books is a quote by a French philosopher, Jacques Joubert, who said that the worst thing about them was that they kept us from reading the old ones. Right? This is definitely some more stuff. In this case, you're watching it, but you get the idea. It's heavily influential, but we might not have read about it, and that sort of thing. And then finally, I just want to thank you so much for taking some time out of your day and investing it and watching my videos, right? Because we all have so many things that are happening in our lives, and we're pulled in so many different directions, right? So the fact that you spend this time with me, that's incredibly humbling, and I appreciate it so very, very much. So thanks again, and have an amazing day.